So, like, I think people have this perception that just isn't the reality of who Shedeur is yet. Now maybe he could become something more in 3, 4, 5 years. But, I don't think you can look at it this way. I've said this to you guys before, but, I just think it's really hard to look at it. Again, when the players have gone through what they've gone through the last 2 years, if Joe Flacco is clearly the best option in camp, give him the job. You can't. What does that say to your players if it's like, yeah, well, Joe is much better, but let's just throw Shedeur out there to see what we got. How are the rest of your players going to digest that?
Shedeur Sanders has taken the NFL world by storm. From his explosive plays on the field to his unshakable composure off it, he's quickly becoming one of the most talked about young quarterbacks in the league. While fans, teammates, and even veteran insiders are starting to see the spark of something special in Shedeur, not everyone is on board. And that brings us to Albert Breer, a respected analyst no doubt, but someone who has just taken a hard stance that's left many scratching their heads. In a recent statement, Breer didn't just express skepticism, he outright dismissed Shedeur's rising stock, claiming that Shedeur isn't as talented as the media is making him out to be. No nuance, no middle ground, just a flat-out denial of what many are already witnessing. So the question now is Breer seeing something we're not, or is he completely missing the bigger picture? Let's break it down.
Start with a couple losses and it doesn't look good. That's an easy way to lose your team, So I think, this is going to go to the best quarterback. I think you owe it to the players in that locker room to do it that way. I have such a hard time, seeing a team that's in the spot the Browns are in, throwing the season overboard in the name of quarterback development, especially when that quarterback's a 5th-round pick.
But Albert Breer didn't stop there. He doubled down, saying in no uncertain terms that Shedeur Sanders isn't even the best quarterback in the Browns' locker room. According to Breer, if the coaching staff dares to place Shedeur ahead of Joe Flacco, a seasoned veteran who, in his words, is clearly the better option, it could backfire in a big way. Breer went as far as to suggest that this move could disrupt the entire locker room dynamic. He believes players might lose trust, stop defending Shedeur, and ultimately, the chemistry that holds the team together could fall apart. It's a bold claim, one that paints a picture of chaos if Shedeur is given the reins too early. But here's the real question. Is this genuine analysis? Or is Breer underestimating the young quarterback's leadership, presence, and the bond he's already built with his teammates? The answer to Breer's claim is actually quite simple. He's not just wrong, he's ignoring the facts, even after hearing what veterans inside the locker room have openly said about Shedeur Sanders. Take Joe Flacco, for instance. This isn't just any veteran. We're talking about a former Super Bowl MVP, a guy who's seen it all in this league. When asked about Shedeur, Flacco didn't try to tear him down or question his presence. Instead, he shared a moment that spoke volumes. Reflecting on Shedeur's personality and daily presence around the facility, Flacco didn't need stats or hype to make his point. He simply said, "He has made me smile in the meeting room." That's not just praise, that's respect. That's a seasoned vet acknowledging the kind of energy, attitude, and leadership Shedeur brings to the table. So while Breer might want to stir up doubts, the real ones inside that building, they know exactly what kind of impact Shedeur is making.
I don't know if it has an impact on much, but Shedeur's been great. I mean, he's a lot of fun to be around in those meeting rooms, and I think so far there's been, at least once in the meeting room that he's made me crack a smile, and that's what it's all about. He's a young guy trying to learn some football and come out here and practice well and do those things. And like I said, he's been a lot of fun. I mean, he's come up to me and, listen, I probably wasn't too far away from playing against his dad, and now I'm playing with him, so.
And Joe Flacco isn't the only one showing Shedeur love. Team captain and star wide receiver Jeudy has also stepped up in full support of the rookie quarterback. When asked about Shedeur, Jeudy didn't hold back. He called him a great dude doing great things for Cleveland and added that he's truly excited to have him on the team. That's not just lip service coming from a teammate, it's a powerful endorsement from a leader who's expected to set the tone in the locker room. Jeudy sees the work ethic, the mindset, and the chemistry Shedeur brings to the field. When your captain, one of the key pieces of your offense, is hyped to line up with you, that says something real. It completely shatters the narrative that the locker room would fall apart around Shedeur. In fact, it's looking more and more like they're rallying behind him.
I think he's a great young quarterback coming to the league. I think he's going to do a tremendous job for us. I'm excited to have him on our team.
So why is Albert Breer still trying to push the idea that Shedeur Sanders isn't a great quarterback? The reason is simple. There are certain journalists like Breer and Mary Kay Cabot who just can't handle being proven wrong. They've spent weeks, if not months, trying to pull Shedeur down, painting him as a long shot, an afterthought. Mary Kay Cabot, in particular, has been relentless. Throughout OTAs and minicamps, she repeatedly labeled Shedeur as nothing more than a fourth-team quarterback, essentially dismissing his chances before he ever had a real shot.
Played out yesterday is the way that I thought it would, is that Shedeur right now is the fourth-team quarterback. He did not take any team reps yesterday. Sometimes there's misinformation that comes out of an OTA like that, but he just did not take any team reps. And not just that he wasn't the second guy or the first guy. He didn't take any 11-on-11s yesterday, but they are making him come up the learning curve and earn his way.
But here's the thing. No matter how much they try to shape the narrative, the reality inside the building tells a different story. Shedeur is not only rising, he's earning respect from veterans, captains, and coaches alike. And now that their predictions are falling apart, it seems like this criticism is less about analysis and more about ego. But let's be clear about one thing. These same critics, they're already starting to shift their narrative. Some of them are beginning to realize they underestimated Shedeur Sanders, and one of the most noticeable turnarounds has come from none other than Mary Kay Cabot herself. In her most recent comments, Cabot finally acknowledged what the locker room, the veterans, and the fans have been seeing for weeks. She pointed out that Shedeur carries himself with a maturity far beyond his years. She even called him a very forthcoming player, giving credit not just to his raw talent, but to his character and leadership. From interviews to press conferences, from those casual sideline conversations to high-pressure moments during camp, Cabot now admits something she couldn't see before. Shedeur doesn't just participate, he commands the moment. Calm, articulate, confident, poised. The very traits you need in a quarterback, especially in a high-expectation city like Cleveland, where the spotlight is relentless. And now that the truth is becoming harder to ignore, the shift in tone is impossible to miss.
He's very upbeat, he's very positive, he's very forthcoming, he's great at the microphone. He does a really, really nice job, like I said before, with the reps that are given to him. And he's fun to be around. He's got a really, really dynamic and charismatic personality.
And Albert Breer, he won't be far behind. Sooner or later, he'll have to eat his words too, because the momentum behind Shedeur Sanders is becoming undeniable. Just take a look at what LeShawn McCoy recently revealed. McCoy, a former NFL star with deep ties in the league, made it clear. If things keep going the way they are, Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. That's not a guess. That's not a hot take. That's coming from someone who's been on the inside and understands how locker rooms and front offices operate. McCoy sees the writing on the wall, and so does everyone else who's paying attention.
Now you're hearing, we might keep all four. Come on now, the writing's on the wall. Yeah. Next thing we go here in training camp, it was a hard decision, but we decided to go with Shedeur Sanders. That's what's gonna happen next. I'm telling y'all.
Shedeur isn't just progressing, he's rising fast. And when that starting announcement does come, all the doubters, Breer included, will have no choice but to backtrack. Because at that point, it won't be about opinions. It'll be about results. In the end, Albert Breer's harsh take on Shedeur Sanders is quickly falling apart. His claim that Shedeur isn't talented enough or respected enough to lead the Browns doesn't match the reality inside that locker room. Veterans like Joe Flacco have praised his presence. Team captain Jeudy has backed him publicly, and even Mary Kay Cabot, once a loud critic, has now admitted Shedeur carries himself with maturity and leadership beyond his years. LeShawn McCoy recently added that if things continue as they are, Shedeur is on track to become the Browns' starting quarterback. The support is real, the momentum is undeniable, and the narrative is shifting fast. Breer may have doubted him, but Shedeur is proving every day that he's not just ready, he's built for this moment. And soon, the results on the field will silence every last critic. The truth? Shedeur Sanders is exactly what Cleveland has been waiting for. But now, the real question is, what do you think? Do you believe Albert Breer is being unfair in his criticism of Shedeur Sanders? Or is he just holding him to a higher standard? Do you think the locker room truly supports Shedeur as strongly as veterans like Flacco and Jeudy suggest? And if Shedeur does become the starting quarterback for the Browns, will he rise to the occasion and silence the critics once and for all? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is just getting started.